We are having so much fun, and we know you're going to love our next guest. His name is Tony Walker, and he is a comedy guy. Comedy cures everything. So.
Absolutely. I had cancer at the age of 32, and I do believe that the laughter and the positive attitude got me through it just as much as the medications did, which led to the comedy troupe that I run called Knockem Comedy. We do dinner theater, murder mysteries, game shows, kid shows. We're not stand-up or anything like that, just comedy shows, variety shows.
You go to restaurants and where else? Like theaters?
Restaurants, private parties, corporate events, fundraisers. Did I say fundraisers?
Fundraisers, firehouse.
Comedy shows, they're murder mysteries, they're audience participation. It's a scripted show because there's clues and hints that have to go out, but it's not a don't blink or you'll miss something. It's not Agatha Christie.
Right.
It's a comedy. It's lighthearted, but one of the characters does get killed,
right.
And then the audience has to figure out who did it and why. And if it's a private party or a corporate event, we personalize it to fit their event.
Now, do you ask the audience for help with the mysteries? Or
Yeah, they solve it.
All by themselves.
Based on what they saw during the show, we even give them a little section where they can interrogate the suspects.
Oh, that's
and,
fun.
So we'll deflect, deny, point fingers at other characters, but everybody makes the rounds throughout the whole room and talks to people.
The show is guaranteed. It's 100% guaranteed fun.
Totally.
Everywhere we go, everybody loves that show.
The audience just get so involved, and there's just such a part of the show, and that makes it even better.
Other things that you do aside from mystery.
we do game shows. The game show, we have a podium with lights and buzzers and sounds, and it's basically
Like
a trivia game show, or it could be, again, we ad-lib with that too. So they may want a trivia game show, but if we show up and they're a loud, boisterous group and they're a lot of fun, we could ask them to do funny physical challenges or do some karaoke or whatever, or name that tune, whatever we feel like doing, and they'll be willing to do. We'll take it there.
What movie introduced the phrase, "There's no crying in baseball"?
Oh, wait.
What letter comes after A? Go ahead. B is correct!
Is there a favorite skit that you do that just still cracks you up every time you do it?
We do a lot of audience participation murder mystery shows, comedic murder mystery shows. And there's two shows. We have a mob show. We're in New York. You have to have the mob shows. And we have a redneck wedding, which is just
I have to come see that one.
You're welcome anytime. Anytime. In fact, I even brought you a shirt.
Growing up in St. Louis, Missouri, I have to say, you did?
Oh, of course I did.
Hey!
That you will wear everywhere you go. In fact, I have a whole bunch. I'm giving one out to everybody.
Everywhere I go. Okay.
That's right.
There you go.
Knockem Comedy.
Oh, that's great.
Can I
Knockem
pretend I'm
Comedy.
drinking something here?
Excellent. Yeah, you can pretend like you're drinking something.
I'm having fun on the set.
We actually do put water in it when guests ask.
Just
we
not
do. But
this
if you
guest,
if you don't ask ahead of time, wait. This one's full of water. You ready?
Nice.
1, 2, 3. All right. There you go.
Johnny, you have a good time tonight or what?
Had an awesome time.
All right. KDC, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, all right.
conversation with me in your head because I didn't.
No, I did. I told you.
hear any of this. This is all like completely new stuff. So weirdo. I feel like you need to move over more because the thing's right in your face. "10 seconds.
This is Cubs Radio.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Knockem Comedy Radio Show, coming at you live from Governor's Comedy Club, the legendary Governor's Comedy Club in Levittown. Thanks for joining us this morning. GovsRadio.com is the website. You can see our show there live right now.
Okay. Okay, we'll just do that for now.
Comedy Radio Show also brought to you by Two Eagles Auto Body. For more than 25 years, Two Eagles Auto Body has been the leader in auto body repairs and customer satisfaction on Long Island. Two Eagles Auto Body handles every type of auto repair, from custom applications and restorations to repairs involving insurance claims. So call Two Eagles Auto Body and ask for John Rossi at 516-328-2527. The Knockem Comedy Radio Show is brought to you by the Roslyn Social, North Shore's premier rooftop lounge, located in the heart of Roslyn Village at 1363 Old Northern Boulevard. Give them a call, 516-801-4963, and say hi to Nick. Fantastic food, great atmosphere, just a great time all around. The Knockem Comedy Radio Show is brought to you by the Roslyn Social, North Shore's premier rooftop lounge, located. Hi everybody. Woo! It's Friday. It's October 1st. Holy moly. It's October already. The Knockem Comedy Radio Show coming at you live from the legendary Governor's Comedy Club right here in Levittown, where you can see Eagle Wit this weekend. I don't know what else this weekend. I should look. I believe there's an open mic. with Steve Rocco Perello.
8 o'clock.
That's tomorrow night.
7:30. Yes, 2 items. You can go up. If for all my comedian peeps. Up in this mug.
Let's see. Eagle Wit and the workshop, and that's all I see. All right, let's see. What else we got here, governors? Okay. Anything on the patio?
I'm
No.
not seeing anything on the patio.
Nothing on the patio. All right, so that's governors here in Levittown this weekend. The brokerage in Belmore, Daniel Tardo. There's also an open mic. That's all I see going on there. McGuire's in Bohemia, ladies and gentlemen, has J.P. Justice playing this weekend. So there you go.
Nice.
All sorts of cool stuff happening. Go to govs.com to make your reservations, see the schedule, do all that stuff. Hello, Kirsten. Hello, Joan. Kirsten, hope you had a great birthday yesterday.
Happy birthday. Sorry.
I'm going to strip for you next time I see you for your birthday. Unless
you want something good.
Yeah, right, exactly. Unless you want a nice present for your birthday.
It's like Kristen's birthday equivalent of coal.
She's now saying I'm never telling him again when my birthday is.
Yep.
And go to knockemdeadcomedy.com because we have some shows open to the public that are coming your way. October 16th, we're playing in a town called Bayshore, Long Island. That's where you'll see Jeff Boski make his Knockem Dead comedy debut. October 30th, we're in a town called Mastic, out east. And then November 5th, we are performing on a cruise.
Cinco de Novembro.
Right. May the 5th, November 5th be with you.
May the 5th of November be with you.
We're performing on the Sapphire Yacht Charters. We're excited about that. That'll be a lot of fun. So go to knockemdeadcomedy.com to check out all the information and what's going on. Joan says The Many Saints of Newark, a good one. Oh, and there's Jeff Boski now. Hello, Jeff.
You might have to remove comedy from the title Knockem Dead Comedy after Jeff performed.
Well, just fucking Knockem Dead Boski.
Love you, Jeff.
Jeff actually has been he's been killing it. He's been killing it in rehearsals. We've all been cracking up every time he says a line because of what it's different from what you did. You were great, but your part was he has more to do. Yeah. He has more to do, and his character is. I mean, I gave it away a few weeks ago on the show what he's doing, but then he got mad at me for giving it away. So
give it away, give it away, give it away. No.
Exactly. So I'm trying to keep it again in case anybody forgot what I said. So, but he's going to be great.
I must have missed it. I didn't say it. So.
All right, good.
So you go, Jeff. Calm your tits.
Well, and that kind of has some. That's a nice little hint as to what he's doing.
Too much of a hint because now I'm going to figure it out.
Yeah. And there we go. The phone's ringing already.
We said Jeff Bosie 3 times. Is that what happened?
I have a feeling it's DJ.
Possible.
You're live on the Knockem Dead Comedy Radio Show. Who's this?
Good morning, Tony.
Good morning, DJ D-Love. I have Andy here with us.
Hype man. What's going on, Hype man? What's going on, Andy?
What's going on, DJ D-Love?
Hey, Tony.
Yes, sir.
You were saying something about mastic?
What'd you say?
You said something about mastic?
Mastic.
Yes, we're doing a murder mystery show in Mastic on October 30th.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. How much is
it? Good question. I'll tell you in a second how much it is. Let's see here.
We can say that it does mean a lot. So there's that.
It's $45. You get dinner and soft drinks, dessert, and the show for $45.
Where at?
It is at the Massac Beach Property Owners Association. Let's see, is there an address here?
You don't have to be a Massac Beach property owner to go.
That's true. I don't see an address for it. But
well, you text me with the information. I'll come, Tony.
All right,
nice.
All right, I'll do that. I'll send it to you. That'll be fun.
Not far from the
you said $40, right?
45.
45. Yep.
All right, good. I bring my staff with me, and me and my staff can come.
Nice. Cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, that'll be fun. I'll send you the info. So what's going on this weekend? Did you make any plans?
No, not really. Nothing going on this weekend. You know how it is.
I know how it
Taking
is.
Taking take it step by step. You know what I mean?
Sometimes even a rock star like you just gotta, take a break.
Yeah, sometimes I do that.
Recharge
So,
the batteries.
Right.
So speak about the
Dorian.
job, Tony.
Yes.
Speak about the job. I'm getting the job. Maybe next week. Maybe, who knows?
This is the roller rink job?
Yep.
Very nice. All right. Well, we're pulling for you. We hope you get it.
If I do get it, I'll let you guys know, and you guys can all come over.
If you get the job, yes, we will come visit. Absolutely, and we'll skate around to the DJ beats.
Oh hell yeah! I'll tell you, the people actually told me the guys are pretty nice. They're pretty chick. I like it. It's really nice.
Oh, very good.
Cool.
Well, good luck. You got a song to get our weekend started?
Actually, yes.
Kick this party off.
No, actually, this is if this party started correctly.
Oh.
This is for the week. This is for the weekend.
The weekend.
Here we go. Yo, I want to say my name is DJ Love and the place to be. You guys have a good weekend. I will see you guys Monday. Oh yeah, I know what I'm doing next. Man, I'm gonna watch the Power Rangers tomorrow. That's my favorite show. Everybody watch the Power Rangers at 8:00. 8:30. Yes, I'm gonna watch. Man, I'm gonna say you gotta have a good weekend. I will see you Monday.
Monday.
Knockem Dead is the best show in the world.
Best show
you know what
in
I'm
the
saying?
world.
Better vote for Knockem Dead comedy radio show. Because you know why? I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna vote for them. Because why? They're the best. They're the best. Knockem Dead. Nobody
Game
can beat them.
recognizing game.
Yeah. My name is DJ and the place to be. I will see you guys later.
Later. Peace. Nice job, DJ D Love.
Oh, and speak about that, Mr. Tony Walker. You still owe me one more chip too, Mister. From Social Washington.
I will give. I'll get it to you. I gave you the last chip I got. I don't even have one to show on the camera anymore. I don't have any more, but I'll get you one. Don't worry. I'll get it.
Oh, I guess the first one I give it to, guess who I give it to?
You're gonna give it to Dorian?
No, I give that the first one I give it to. I give it to my friend, the Walk Sauce.
Okay. Yeah, you were.
Oh, Walk Sauce. Yeah.
Yeah, you were talking about him that day you were here. Yes.
Yes, and actually, I gave it to him on the day on my birthday. Actually, I gave it to him, and actually, he said thank you.
Oh, so you gave it to him already. So what do you need another one for? Oh, for you?
I want another one to get. No, another one for me. Or actually, I'm getting another one to my cousin. Actually.
Oh, one for
your
cousin.
Here's the deal. Okay. But here's the deal, though. If I get to my cousin, he has to take me there. Though. That's the question. He can't go out with me, so he had to come with me to go there. That's why I want to go.
So if you give you give somebody a gift, but you make them share the gift with you.
Exactly.
Well, that's a man with a plan right there. You sinister, conniving.
Oh,
positively diabolical.
and I found out about that guy. His name was Zak something.
Yes. I heard you had some interaction with Zak Zorovich.
Did you?
Yeah, and he don't know who. Hey, Zak, if you're watching, now you know who I am, Zak.
Yep.
I'll be watching now, Zak. Now you know who the hell I am.
You'll have to.
Now I hope we be friends now.
Yep. All right. Yeah, he's been looking around his bushes to see if you've been popping out of them. But yes, he does know who you are now. So yeah.
We were.
Yep.
Oh, and also there's another thing too. Hey, I'm saying I send you a Facebook. I send you a quest. Once you accept it, Adam Sandler, give it to me. I sent him one too.
Adam Sandler?
Are you calling out Adam Sandler?
Is that what you Adam Sandler? Oh, I don't know if Adam Sandler watches this show, but all right. So you called Adam Sandler out.
Yep. Also, I sent him a request too.
I'm sorry. What?
I sent him a request also. He never accepted it yet.
Oh, okay. Well, if we ever see him, I don't know if he's ever been here, but if we ever see him, we'll tell him to.
I'm sure years ago.
Probably in the 90s or something. Yeah.
I'd say late 80s. Yeah, he'd have to. Yeah.
So if we ever meet him, we'll tell him
for shizzle,
and we'll tell him Donnie Wahlberg.
Mm-hmm. And Don.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's right. All right, DJ D-Love, enjoy your weekend, pal.
There's one more thing I'd like to say. You guys have a blessed weekend.
You too.
You guys have an awesome weekend.
You too.
And you guys always gonna make sure you wash your hands and
too.
be safe out there. You suckers!
Suckers! DJ D-Love checking in.
So I'm sorry because Zak is a friend of mine. So I'm interested to know, because Zach is kind of known, if anybody knows or doesn't know Zak Zorovich, we fuck with him because the zinger. He's the zinger, Zak Zorovich.
Oh, is that right?
Because he's very good at like kind of doing the insult thing. He loves Jeff Ross.
Mm-hmm.
So like, it's almost like his spiritual spirit animal.
Was he here for the laugh off?
No. Matter of fact, when I did the 9/11 show, Zach opened that. I think he opened that show. He was the first comic I introduced.
I think I've met Zach once or twice, but I can't remember. I'm sure I was here. I just don't remember what night exactly it was, and it's been bugging me. But yeah, he reached out to me yesterday. So I heard from somebody that threw your name out, and I just want to make sure that somebody's not going to come popping out of my bushes. So I had to explain to him, what it was all about, and he was okay. All right, just want to make sure. I said, if you see a red light shining through your bathroom, just let me know. I said, but I don't think that's going to happen here. I think you're safe.
Hilarious. Zach is really, really funny. He's the one who I've told you this before. When I first started doing open mics, he was going to the open mic that I went to regularly, and he would start off by going around the room and insulting us all. And some of the best ones that he said about me was, because I used to have like long hair and this big beard.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
He told me I looked like I wrangled seagulls for a living. There was one time he told me that I looked like John Stamos fucked a slug. That's a good one. I like that. He's got him. And when I brought him up on September 11th at Greenwich Village, I was like, because I'm like, how do you want me to bring you up? And he's like, whatever you say is gonna be great. I'm like, all right, man, I'm gonna come at you. And he's like, oh, I'm ready. I'm like, all right, cool. So I went up, and Zach is a very interesting dude. Played college lacrosse at Florida State University. Was a goalie.
Wow.
And but he's like the antithesis of like lacrosse bro.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
But I go up, and he's got two sisters. And I go, all right, ladies and gentlemen, your next comic coming to the stage. He's got one sister's a doctor, the other sister's a lawyer, and he is here today to tell a couple of jokes in a basement. Zak Zorovich. And he's like, as I'm passing him, he goes, that one hurt.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, one good thing that came out of it, because we've never messaged each other before, so I said, well, come on the show.
Yeah.
And he said he wants to, and
Zach's good people.
Yeah, so I said, whenever you want, man. I told him
he
we're here.
He works in the import-export business.
He's a drug dealer, is basically what you're saying.
Sounds like. But he used to tell me stories about, like, going to take a shit in where he works, and the guy next to him, like, being on his phone. That's not even gonna... No, so that's one of my faves. One of my absolute favorite.
Really?
Of the young guys. Matter of fact, I think he's on that roast. If I'm not mistaken.
Oh, the night that you're doing it?
Maybe not. No, I've been on roasts with him before.
All right. Well, I want to talk about that. I just want to go back to Joan for a second. Joan, so you like the movie? I'm dying to see it. I can't wait to see it today. What can you tell us without giving anything away, Joan? So, all right. So I just want to throw that out there quick. So yeah. So speaking of this roast battle, I saw the ad yesterday. Stephen Rocco Perello hosting a roast battle. When? The 15th?
It is. Let me look at yes, Friday, October 15th, 2021, at 8 p.m. in the Little Room here at Governor's Comedy Club.
And you're in it.
Well, I wasn't originally in it. I got contacted the other day by the guy that I'm going to be battling, because the title of this one is "Come See." It's a roast battle royale, and tagline is "Come see comedy besties rip each other apart." Because you can't, like, if it's just somebody you don't really know. Oh, so they would just go
with besties, and then they called you.
Right. A bunch of people dropped out, got COVID. So Joe Winchell, who is one of my comedy besties, hangs out with Billy Geyer a lot. Also, like,
yep.
usually I'll go over to Billy's house and Billy will say something like, "Man, I missed you the other day. Joe stopped by," and Joe talks like he's one of these people who's just like, "No. Like I'm bad, you're bad. Like people like us are bad."
Yeah.
Joe is like even the next level because he's like he's.
This is the worst time of year for me. Between this and White Post, I get sick of my own voice.
Right.
Really. I'm so sick and tired of talking. Yeah.
So there's a bunch of interesting stuff that I'm going to save for the roast that I've already started constructing my a couple of the jokes that I'm gonna.
Now, is this something that they've done before?
So roast battles.
Roast battles.
So
yeah,
we
but
have,
I mean here.
Well, here maybe not these. Most of the roast battles that I've been a part of have been sort of underground or like at bars and stuff like that, because I was about to say is like the history of roast is like a roast is where you're roasting somebody who is sort of not necessarily at the end of their career, but
they've achieved a certain status.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's like most of us.
Like the Dean Martin roasts
Correct.
and all that. Yeah.
Friars Club roasts.
Right.
And then the Comedy Central ones started eating away at that, like Justin Bieber and and then it used to be just about people who were comedians, because and like Donald Trump apparently really hated his roast because he didn't know a couple of them. And
I remember that with Shatner's.
And
one of the first things he said, "Who are you people?"
Well, that was hilarious.
That was hilarious.
Who are you people? That was fantastic.
Yeah.
But you have all of those roasts, and Bob Saggett's roast is, to me, one of the greatest roasts, because he truly is loved.
Yeah.
And he knew all those people, and he is a comics comic, like everything about, and so many people did an iconic performance, and this goes back to, we never got to talk about it, Norm Macdonald.
Oh.
And Norm Macdonald on that roast, the guy who said that he
right.
And
Now
like, I don't know why, he
I thought that was
bombed, and I don't know
genius.
what happened.
Genius.
Everybody looks back at it, and the only other person that I know that didn't get it immediately was Jim Norton. Went up after him and was like,
and he ripped him on the radio the next day.
Yeah, but then once everybody kind of got to him, and he was like, "Oh my God, I look like such an idiot because I did not get the joke."
Mm-hmm.
It was such a fantastic. It was brilliant. I remember watching it in real time when it first aired, crying during the Norm Macdonald part, because I'm like, "Oh my God!" Like he's stuck with, like, because as you're watching it, you're like, "What the fuck?" Like you laugh out of just his delivery. You're like,
right.
Like, he's doing this. Then you're like, oh my God, he's like full bore doing it.
Mm-hmm.
It's absolute genius. And so it's funny to, like, I've seen a couple of interviews, with now that he's passed, and like all this retrospective kind of things, where he's talked about it on like podcasts or being interviewed about it, and how much of a conscious choice it was that there is no way. And he even names the book that he got a lot of the jokes out of.
Oh yeah,
because it was like an old insult thing, and he has a lot on his mind. I'll tell you, the only time Bob Saget has something on his mind, a hat.
But it was perfect because Bob Saget, he's known for America's Funniest Home Videos and Full House, where he did nothing but tell these corny jokes.
Well, see, I saw it as the actually, because Bob Saget is known in his stand-up.
Oh, filthy.
Of being just the filthiest comic.
Yeah.
And to me, it was just so perfect that Norm went up there and did that, and was like, to me, it was more of like a statement to that effect.
Oh, okay.
I think Gilbert Gottfried was fantastic on that roast. But roast battling has become kind of a thing. They even had a show on Comedy Central for a while.
Right. Which to me kind of ruined it a little bit. Like those old roasts that we mentioned, the Dean Martin, the Friars Club, those things were not meant to air. I'm surprised they even had cameras in there, to be honest. Right. I mean, the whole point was, just...
Roasts are kind of like The Hang.
Yeah.
What we call The Hang. Like the before and after the show,
Right.
You've heard us say, like, those are always the best times.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're all just, and the reason they're awesome is because we're all of our engines are purring, and we are absolutely talking mad shit about anybody who is not in the room. And then we kind of fuck with each other.
Right.
And whatnot. But the worst stuff is saved for the people who are not there. And invariably, there is always a comic who's there laughing and going, you know what? We should just have a podcast called The Hang. And we should. No, because a lot of this stuff can't be fucking repeated.
Right. I think when we do our green room show, I think we get a little bit of that.
Yes, you'll get a taste of it.
But
yeah.
taste, right. But then when those cameras are off, or like you said, when there's no cameras at all, it's just
it becomes even worse.
Yeah. I've seen some crazy shit back here, man. And you laugh your freaking ass off.
That's what I'm saying. It's amazingly funny. And yes, that you post euphoria feeling of like, God, why can't everybody laugh like this? If they saw this, they would laugh, except for the person that we're taking a shit on, right?
Right.
They will hate it. But that's the whole roasting thing is just like kind of what everybody does with everybody. So, this is actually, and I even have the thing up here because some of these pairings are, I saw this because if you see on my Facebook page, you'll very much notice that Joe Winchell versus Andy Plajanos is photoshopped in there.
Oh, is that right?
It's almost like I did it. Like I want to be a part of this, so let me go ahead and.
Yeah, that's pretty.
It's a different font. It's like clearer than all the other ones. Like it's like a copy of a copy.
So all right. So what is the roster? Who's doing what?
So Joe Winsel and I.
Yeah.
We're listed first on this one. We and so I know Joe. I've known Joe since he started. We were on a show together. He's actually one of the first people that when I did Dracula the first time, he was there, and he's the one. Whenever I tell the story, that he was like, "You should go up there as Frankenstein."
Oh yeah.
When I had that whenever I tell that story, that's Joe is the guy that was standing there talking to me. The next one, James Raniolo and Dana McAllister. James Raniolo is a fantastic comic. He is so funny. And Dana's so
just
funny.
She's just nuts.
She's nuts, but these are like truly funny people, and they are good friends. And so this is going to be great. And I'm the over on polio jokes or vaccine jokes. I'll tell you, get your bets in now because that line is moving. Tom Crescenzo and Manny Cruz. They were the last two that went at my Laugh Off show.
Okay.
And that's the one where I was holding one of their drugs while they went up. Like I'm like the aunt who can't go on the roller coaster, so I hold everybody's coats.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Like, Andy, could you watch this for me? Don't let anybody touch it. I'm like, all right, what is it? It's my stash. All right. I feel like I'm gonna have to like fight off a fucking cartel or something. And then I had to seek him out to give it back. I'm sitting there, he finished his set, and I'm sitting there with Jack Adam, and I'm like, Jack's like, what are you looking at? And I'm like, Tom's been off for like 10 minutes, and he hasn't come and gotten his shit.
You'd think that would be his first
That's what
move,
I'm like,
yeah.
if it's so important, but I'm everybody's big brother is kind of like the feel. So I'm like, Tom is so comfortable with me holding this shit that like
so you're
it's like
flattered.
your parents, yeah, like you're gonna have to clear out your shit from the basement, the attic, you know, like the parents say that to their kid, like the kid's like okay, but they're just like they almost forget about it because it's always gonna be there. And Manny Cruz, fantastic. These guys they have found their voices and they're getting so much better every time I see them. The quarantine really changed a lot of people's perspective and forced them into fantastic avenues. Next one, Mandy Jones, Kathy Arnold.
Oh.
Mandy Jones is a comedy friend of mine as well. Kathy, we've hung out a few times.
Kathy's great.
Kathy is hilarious.
And Mandy, when she did the roast battle in here for Don's show, she was fantastic.
Yes. And this is going to be great because they're both such like nice people. That it's going to be interesting to see like what they do to each other. I'm looking forward to that one. Raul Andrade versus Devin Bramble. So Raul was in here that night.
Yes, I remember.
The night of the Laugh Off. fantastically funny.
I've never seen him. Sallie has seen him. She said he's great.
He worked at it. He was a bartender. Who's the guy? Burt Young.
Oh, sure.
Used to come into his bar all
What
the
was
time.
it up in the North Shore?
It's like in Queens.
He
Yeah.
lives in Port Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he would come in there all the time, and he's got some hilarious stories that he doesn't even do on stage.
Oh, yeah.
That about Burt Young, and like dealing with what an outrageous. Well, I'll stop there. So that's good. And Devin Bramble is fucking hilarious.
Yes, Devin's great.
And so the two of them. Now this is the one that I know least about, but I have met them and I've seen their stuff and they're both funny. Is Daniel Rocco and Chris Fry, and they're young guys. They're both funny. Like I just and I see that they're the one show I did with both of them. They were both like They were hanging out together. So like it's got to be a good friend for this to work. Okay, yeah, here we go. Nick Tardo versus Zak Zorovich.
Oh, okay.
So Nick, you met Nick.
Yep. Nick's funny.
I love Nick with a passion. Like he is. I see him. He's like one of those people that could really like take off. And same thing with Zak. And Zak is this insult comic. Already went over him. Now the last one is going to be because I more know these guys just socially than through actual comedy.
Right.
Andrew Bergen versus Brendan Ryan. And now you met Andrew Bergen that night.
Right.
Fantastically funny. He's got such a great delivery. Mm-hmm. And all of these people are hilarious except for Joe. So I don't know how that happened. But then Brendan Ryan, I know Brendan Ryan hosts an open mic that I can never go to because it's like during the week in like Farmingdale.
Yeah.
And so I can't make that sort of thing. But but he's a ginger, so I guess they had to have one.
Are there prizes? Like, how does this work? How much time? How long are you up there for? Like, how does this?
So I'm gonna guess. What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Where we get?
Probably an hour and a half, 9, 10. It's gonna be about 5 minutes each. I'm gonna guess.
Yeah. Okay.
I did one where we were limited to 5 jokes.
Oh.
Each. So we had to be really economical in how we approached each other. But I got some stuff in store for Joe Winchell, and you'll hopefully meet Joe Winchell next week. He should be coming here on Friday.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So we can kind of talk up our undercard bout, because the main event is Steve Rocco Perello versus Travis Grant. I don't know Travis very well. I've seen his act maybe 3 times now, but very funny dude.
Yeah.
And Perello is a person. Who wears black
and eyeliner and hangs out in cemeteries.
Yes, we were actually at a party, Tony Landolfi's end of summer party a couple of weeks ago, and there was a girl he used to date that he brought with, and she's insane. And I'm like, why did you bring this woman with you?
Wow.
But matter of fact, when he walked away, she goes, "You come back, better come back," and he's like, "I'll come back." And she turns to me and she goes, "One time he left me at a party. We were at a party and he just left me." And I'm like, that is not what I expected to hear you say. I expected you to do something like, "Oh God, please help me. He's got my entire family in his basement. He's
Right.
going to kill all of them.
Please leave.
You look like a
me
nice
here."
white guy who probably knows some cops, maybe somebody in the FBI, and you can help me free my family
Yes.
from this." So, yeah. But no, Perello is a very funny dude. And there's no drop off here, really. Like, everybody's so solid on this.
So so it's not a contest of any kind. It's just entertainment. It's just
it's literally
okay.
and it becomes bragging rights.
Right,
Because
sure.
anybody that you beat, you give it to them every time. After that, you see them at a mic or at a show or whatnot, and don't never let them live it down.
That's cool. That sounds like fun. Well, that's the 15th is a Saturday?
15th. Oh no, it's Friday the 15th.
It's Friday
the 15th.
Okay. Wow.
And, which is 2 weeks before my October 29th show at McGuire's, where I am closing out the show. I'm not going to say headlining because
why not?
I'm not a headliner. It's actually like some of the terms mean things.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Like and some different people care more about what they mean. It's like anything. But I don't want to call myself a headliner. I may never end up being a headliner. That's a distinct possibility. I very much am happy that I was able to go from like an opening act to like a middle and feature.
A feature, right.
And sometimes I feature.
Right. And that's...
So
and that's nothing to... Well, I was going to say that's nothing to laugh at either. But
no.
But that is a...
Don't laugh at it.
That is an important... That's a good distinction to be a feature.
It is. No, it feels good. And also, like the 9/11 show, I finished. Evan Weiss was the producer. Tugboat Manny was the headliner. And I finished. We get into the car together to drive back to Long Island.
You and Tugboat?
Tugboat and
Evan.
Evan was driving. Don't ever do that.
Yeah, I was shocked to hear that.
Yeah, no, he's going like 40 miles an hour, leaving like 10 cars in between him and... But anyway, I digress. And we get in the car, and Evan goes, "Oh, Andy, you did a good job." And Tugboat's like,
sound
"Yeah."
surprised.
And that's exactly what I said. Tugboat's like, "Yeah, you did it. You did do a good job. That was fantastic." And I go, "Thank you. And please don't act so fucking surprised."
You dicks.
Right. Like, haven't you guys seen me host? But yeah, so that was and that's because these are all like different. I look at it as like D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, like just conquering, making different levels, leveling up to things, and being better at things. And to be honest, now I'm like, you know what? I think because I'm going through a period where I'm like, I don't think I want to do hosting because it's so stressful.
I love it.
Yeah. I hate having to go to the other comics and be like, and like making sure that they get the light and like they see the light and acknowledge the light, like the anxiety that I experience.
I don't like doing that with the headliner.
Well, see
but the rest I don't mind.
Headliner, it's like, well, see, I've never done it in a club. It's well, I shouldn't say a club. I've never done it in this club, but I've done it at Greenwich. I haven't done it at Broadway. But those are the only two clubs I played in the city. But it's funny because I'm holding up my my cell phone because that's usually that's the light. Just I wanted you guys to see what a comic will see.
Well, and if you don't know what we're talking about, by the way, that's usually holding up the light is the signal that hey, your time is pretty much up. You gotta wind it up.
Yeah, and some people blow the light, which is
yep.
That was Billy and I, one of the ideas for the name of a podcast if we were to ever
blow
do
the
one.
light.
Blowing the light. Yeah.
Actually, it was pretty good.
Yeah. And but yeah, it's to me it's like stressful, but like the last couple of times I'm like and doing Greenwich, and Evan actually very good producer for like he takes care of some things that other producers don't, that they put on the host.
Okay.
So that was nice, and I was like, "Oh, this was fun," and I was comfortable and everything. This is my first time post-pandemic hosting, so it was like, "Oh, okay, I could do this.
Right.
Get paid a little bit."
Right.
My wife's like, "How much you got?" I told her, and she's like, "Yeah, you should host more." But yeah, so I will be closing out the show.
Nice.
I mean, it is the show that when I had won John Butera's 2019 Funniest Comic in Suffolk. That I earned.
You sure did.
So that's and he's having the contest again for 2021. There'll be an asterisk in the record books for 2020, much like the 1918 Stanley Cup was not contested due to the misnamed Spanish flu. Oh, you learned something.
I did. It's a history lesson.
But
all right, let's go back and read some comments here. So,
Joe
Stas says Saints of Newark sucked. Ooh. The mini Saints, I saw it 3 weeks ago and it sucked. I didn't think it sucked, says Joe, and had to pay attention, but I thought it was a good beginning. Well, everyone got their own opinion. To me, got bored. David Chase needed to up his game, but he failed. Joan, I'll watch it again because I was trying to remember who the younger versions of the characters were. I'm slow with this stuff. Joe says he watched it twice. Oh, he asked if DJ D-Love called in. Yeah, he called in already. He's glad he missed it. Adam Snare is watching.
And Adam Snare will be on the show. My 10/29, my October 29th Halloween extravaganza.
Adam says headliners should really know and usually should know about when they get off the time. Yeah, I had to light Joey Cola, man.
Well, I love that story.
Right there on stage. Don't you ever fucking light me.
Well, it's funny because there's things that are like he might have even wanted that so he could do that.
Yeah, right.
Because like when hosts come to me and they're like, "It's Plaganios," and I'll be like, "Listen, it's fine. Just go up there and say whatever. But just tell me Plagianos." Okay, and they'll go up and usually they screw it up. And that helps me because there's an old opener, which I do use sometimes where I'm like, my name's actually Andy Plagianos, but I grew up with this name. And then I go into this whole thing about names and like nicknames. So sometimes it's a good setup.
So that'll be fun to have Adam back here.
Yes.
Wow, it's just a few weeks away.
Yeah.
The song You Played in the Saints was written by a student in my Valley Stream High School. I was trying to see if any actors were from there. They were the Aquatones. All right.
Interesting.
The guys have... guys, have a nice weekend. Taking my wife to Miami for the weekend. Hard Rock, here we come. Oh, all right. Well, have a good time there, Beansy.
Yes, stay rock hard, my friend.
Oh, that was good. And he's not going to spoil anything in the movie. All right. So we have one saying it sucked, one saying it was good, and saying there was some local Long Island flair in it.
Sweet.
All right.
Sweet.
How are the Black Crows? Did you go?
No.
You didn't go?
No.
No shit.
Couldn't. It just wasn't in the cards.
Now, that wasn't on the air, right? So, right? That was after the show that you realized you were
I think
tickets?
so, because I got an email that said...
Right. So I think it was the last time you were here.
Hey, some things for you to know about the Black Crows concert you have tickets to tonight. And I'm like...
All right. Now, originally you bought tickets, but it was rescheduled with COVID.
I
So
bought
this was the
tickets
rescheduled
in
date?
September of 2019.
Oh, my
I bought
goodness.
tickets for July of 2020. Because we just heard that they were going to be doing the Shake Your Moneymaker album.
In full, right.
Yes, and just the Shake Your Moneymaker album.
Right.
And that was a huge, to me, like that was like a very influential album to me at that
Is that
time.
their first album?
Yes.
It is. Okay.
Jealous Again.
Yeah.
Twice as hard. She Talks to Angels.
Hard to Handle.
Yep. Well, was
Right.
Hard to Handle, I think, was the... No, you're right. Actually, Hard to Handle was on that first one.
Yep.
It just... So many fucking incredible songs. And even some of the stuff that didn't get released was... Like, that was just on the album that didn't get a radio play.
No, yeah.
There were some great songs on there.
Mm-hmm.
And because even when they got to, like, Remedy and whatnot, like, I...
Love Remedy.
That style was something that I was just so into because it's almost like in the realm of like Creedence Clearwater Revival,
Early Stones, or like not so
sort
early.
of more like like
late
early
60s, early
Stones.
70s. Yeah.
Which I never was like a huge fan of the Rolling Stones anyway because by the time I was hearing the Stones, it was like Steel Wheels and
I like Steel Wheels. I liked it. Mixed Emotions. Mixed Emotions is awesome. Almost Hear You Sigh. That's sexy, man.
But then like Guns N' Roses, there was like, I was into Guns N' Roses, but like I wasn't like a hard rock dude. Like in my school, there were like these hardcore burnouts that like
the burnouts
were like, that was their thing.
That was like the big, that was the big insult. Fucking burnout.
It was just hilarious because these were my people. And we'd be like, yes. That's right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Like it's like Bird, Camera,
right?
Tony. Doesn't make any sense, but a lot of my buddies were like into hair bands and like hard shit that like and speed metal and all these other things, and I wasn't that angry.
Right. Yeah.
Little did I know I was, but I just couldn't. There was just something about it. And it's funny because like Metallica, the Black Album, I think that just had an anniversary.
Yeah.
I actually was like, because like all the earlier stuff was like, I don't really like this. This is sort of the harder stuff. Black Album came out, and I'm like, I think I like the earlier stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The Black Album's it's a great album. It took me a long time to
But that was
get
like
back
their
into it.
first. That was when they were just starting to sell out.
I don't even think see and the whole selling out. Like I don't think like a band like that doesn't sell out. They
totally
morphed.
catered to MTV.
They changed.
Nah, they sold
It's
out.
like it's almost like Howard Stern. Like there's a
Howard Stern changed. Those Metallica sold out.
I don't know.
They cut their hair to go with the
hair,
latest
the
styles
hair
and
didn't get cut until way after that. I was in the
yeah,
Air
but
Force.
that's what I'm
when
saying
that
though. The Black Album was just the beginning of them starting to sell out. They did a covers album, then they did an album. They did a live show with an orchestra. Like they did all the typical shit that everybody does.
Right. They're like the Tony Bennett of metal.
They're making a duet album with Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga, yeah.
So all right, so you didn't so you got the text or the email that day about the Crows, and
yeah.
you
and
couldn't
so
make it happen?
I contacted my wife, and I'm like, oh shit, remember those Black Crow tickets we bought 2 years ago? I guess I must have deleted or went to my junk mail or whatever. Previous, like, hey, dummy, this is when you're Black Crows. But I forget what we had. We had something with the girls that night that was like, we can't. Like it just.
So you just ate the tickets, huh?
Well, I put it on like a couple of like circulating kind of things and no bites.
Oh wow!
So it was like,
oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
I am too, because that's what I said. Like when the Black Crows came along, like one of my favorite songs from the '80s will get me in a great mood every time I hear those opening licks.
I'll melt with you.
That is actually one of them. But it's
no one's gonna break my stride. I'm trying to guess. Nobody's gonna break my stride.
Also true, but not the song.
Wake me up before you go.
No. Yeah,
oh, Georgia Sallie, keep your hands to yourself.
Yes.
I'm with you, man.
Got a little change in my
pocket. I love that freaking song.
I'm gonna try
I'd play that at the farm,
baby. Give you a ring.
But each time I talk, I get the same old thing.
Always no
hooky, see ya when I get a wedding ring.
My honey, my baby, don't put my love up on the shelf. She said, don't hand me no lines and keep your hands to yourself. Dude, it always gets me pumped. And to me, the Black Crows were like, because then I never heard from the Georgia Satellites. Not that I sought them out, because I'm not a musical seeker, as we were talking about before.
Yeah.
Music has to come to me. I will, not even halfway. To me.
Sitting on your throne.
Right. Yes, bring in the new music. Who are you? What do you do? Feed them to the lions.
That's right. Yep.
But
which is a Black Crow, name of a Black Crow album.
Exactly.
See that? That was good. You meant to do that.
It's called a callback. Learn it, live it, love it.
Yep.
That's the direct quote from Fast Times at Ridgemont High. No, so the Black Crows were like, Jealous Again was the first song I heard. That was the first song that was single that was released on that. Somebody's going to be like, stop singing. My dog is dead.
You broke my window. You're live on the Knockem Comedy Radio Show. Who is this?
Oh, my God. And he's on the show. I definitely have a little change in my pocket that's going jing-a-ling-a-ling.
Yeah, you do. You want to try to call me on the telephone, give me a ring?
I just want to, listen, that beat is sick. I want to take a ride on your disco stick. That or a mustache ride, whatever comes first.
Where are you right now?
I'm in my
fart room.
Exactly.
Nice.
I'm always in the vehicle of destruction where people give me the finger all day long.
The vehicle of destruction.
Yes. Well, if I go ahead and I hit somebody with a Mack truck, I don't think the car's surviving.
All right. Wow. So
That's definitely not a laundry joke. Anyways,
So you liked Andy singing, did you?
I love. Listen, anytime I get excited. I was like sitting there. I was like, "Ooh, forget about saying my name 3 times." He just spelt it out of tune. I'm all excited in the down under.
There you go, Joe.
Excited in the down under. That'll be Bosie's first comedy album.
I know that it's not. I don't know. It's not unusual for you to pleasure yourself while you're driving.
That's why I asked where he was. Yeah.
So I'm just happy that I could be the reason and not some woman you looked down her blouse at a stoplight.
It's not unusual to be in love with
That's
anyone.
exactly what I was thinking. Did you ever see the John Mulaney thing where he talks about how
And they play Pussycat for another 17. Of course, I love that part.
that's so great. They're in a diner with the jukebox, and he and his buddy put in like a ton of money and played What's New Pussycat over and over and
really?
over again. Yeah, and he's like the first 3 times, whatever. Fucking people were like ready to kill them.
That is really funny.
What's new, Pussycat? Whoa,
Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa.
If we didn't kill everybody's dog before.
Right. Although apparently you hit a nerve with Bosie. Bosie appears to be a big Tom Jones fan.
Oh, well, I mean, come on. I mean, that man influenced me when I was 9 years old, and I was forced to go see a concert, and I'm watching all these 50-year-old women throw their panties at him. I was like, ew! And now I'm going, hey, I wouldn't mind having a 50-year-old throw their panties at me now.
This concert hall smells like a fish fry now.
Like, why does it smell like Brooklyn in here?
Yeah. South Street Seaport. This is like going over the Brooklyn Bridge.
So what would it take? Name your price the next time you're doing stand-up to just break into It's Not Unusual.
Oh, free?
Yeah, nobody's going to notice anyway.
Exactly. It's like, well, give it a hand for whoever that was that just went up. Potholes.
Did you just? What was that? A pothole?
Pothole.
Damn, that sounded nasty. We even picked that up here.
So, but anyway, where's Joe Winchell?
Next week, because you know him. I text him. I sent him a text after I asked Tony, and Tony gave the green light. Actually, it's reverse. I actually had asked him, and I was like, "Shit, I should probably." Ask Tony.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
And I also knew that, but also like respect, and so I said to him, "Hey, Friday or next Friday, you want to come in?" He said yes, and then I wrote, "Which Friday is best for you?" And then he responded 10:36 a.m. today. Saying next Friday, sorry, LOL. So I'm sure he just woke up from yesterday.
Well, that's nice for him.
Yes.
Thank God he can wake up at 10:30. Yeah. All right, listen, I don't want to rain on your parade. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys soon. Andy, love you, buddy.
I love you.
Take care, Tony. So long. So long. So long. I speak the proper English. So long now. Talk to you later.
Later, man.
I don't know what just happened.
I haven't seen. It's funny. It's like a moment like that. I realized I haven't seen him in like weeks now.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been seeing him. A lot lately, rehearsing and getting ready for the big show.
Sex.
And did I? I don't know if you caught the show when we were talking about what happened to him at rehearsal last week.
I don't think so. No.
We rehearsed at Shevlin's house, and we were in the basement. Rehearsal was over. Eric was outside, and it was Bosie, one of our actresses, Linda Bartolomeo, and me going up the stairs. Eric's wife's at the top of the stairs, and the dog. Eric has this big, looks like a German Shepherd. It's actually, Eric actually gets mad. No, it's a Calico Shepherd, I think. Or Calico Shepherd?
It's a German Shepherd.
Yeah, whatever. He says it's something else, but whatever.
Right.
It's a different kind of shepherd.
But he's not watching.
Right. So the dog starts barking as Jeff gets closer to the top of the stairs. But, he's right next to Eric's wife, so you just assume you're safe and, you're not thinking anything of it. And they're to the left. Now, to leave the house, you go up the stairs, you got to go to the right, we'll go around out the front door. So Jeff just turns to the right. As soon as he turned, boom, the dog bit each ass cheek. And I heard the dog barking, but I've been there a million times. The dog always barks. I'm not thinking anything of it. So I was looking down. I'm looking at the steps as I'm going up. And I hear him barking. And I hear... all I hear... I got to do it away from the mic. Ouch! And I look up, and that's when I see the dog bite the right cheek, and then Linda's telling me, "You got the left cheek first. He bit him twice. Oh my God!" She's freaking out.
Well, because she's kind of
she's
nervous.
Yeah. And Jeff turns out too. Jeff is not a dog lover. He does not
skittish, is he?
Yes, to say the least. Ouch! Like you didn't hear oh fuck or what the. It was. He actually said the word ouch.
I respect that because words like that are like burp.
I do that. I'll actually go burp.
I'd say burp when I burp, and it drives my daughters insane.
It drives Sally's crazy. Sally
and
crazy.
Becca, because she's like, "That's not the sound that you make." I'm like, "Well, why is it called a burp then?"
Right. Yep.
Like that, if that's not the sound, that's.
I actually got into that habit from my mother.
Or saying "achoo" while I'm sneezing.
Yeah, I do.
Achoo!
Yeah, I do that on purpose, just for comedic effect. Burp, it's just become a habit.
Yeah.
But not all the time. Sometimes I'll just blah, to be funny about it. But
that's funny. I bet you the dog was like, "Why do both of these taste like cheese?" Like a tasteless cheese, I don't know, like mozzarella. Yes, mozzarella. That's what it tastes like.
But the middle, the cracks smell like Raider. But it just struck me funny. First off, let me point out, I believe he's okay because we went out.
Well, he's obviously sitting right now.
Well, right, that's what I'm saying. So we went outside afterwards. Me and him were talking for probably a half hour after. It's not like he was like, he seemed fine. So I can. That's why I'm laughing. If he was really hurt, I wouldn't find it funny. But I just found it funny that he yelled "ouch." It just something about it made me laugh. I was freaking cracking up. But he, in all seriousness, he refuses to tell anybody just how bad the damage was, because the dog really did bite him. It wasn't like just nipping. I mean, the dog really did clamp down. Jeez. Yeah. Ouch!
Almost wish you have a recording of
that. Let's see. Hardest part of hosting for Adam Snare is remembering the names when I don't know the comics personally. Is it bad to write it down and carry a piece of paper on the stage to announce?
I don't know. Carla does what works for her, and if it worked for me, if I didn't sweat so much from my hands.
Oh, she writes it on her hands?
She writes names and credits on her hands.
So are you telling me that writing it on a piece of paper is a bad thing?
I think it crosses over into sort of like the professionalism kind of thing, and being...
But it's true. Sometimes you just meet the person for the first time that night.
Yeah, but if you're hosting, then you should be able to hold on to this person's name for the... minute that you have to remember.
I'm not that good. And when I hosted, I think it was the first time I hosted for Governors. No, the second. First time I hosted at McGuire's, Scott Schenlinger. Oh, you don't know who that is?
No. Schlesingers?
No, Schenlinger. Great guy. Very, very funny. But it was the first time I ever met him, so I didn't know. I didn't. I think I'd have an easier time remembering Plagianos.
Look at that, you did.
It took us what, a year to get your name right?
But who's counting except for me? It's in a book. I have it in a book.
All right, well, that's good to know. See, now I have to write that down on a piece of paper. Don't bring up piece of paper.
Well, again, it's whatever's going to work for you, like to do it right. But it's one of those things, like bringing your notes on stage. I've done a couple of shows now where and it's primarily younger dudes going up with their notes. Or
Yeah, I
with
don't
their
like
phone
doing
out.
that.
And it's like, I get it, and we are just in this bar in the middle of fucking Ronkonkoma, and nobody's watching except for other comics.
Right.
But
Lauren Michaels will not be showing up there.
But this is where this should be the place that you don't use it. So
Right.
if you screw it up, then you screw it up, and
Yep.
you kind of learn. I truly believe it. Like it's like doing the going off book kind of thing in any sort of performance art. The sooner you can go off book, the more you can feel comfortable
Right.
delivering this stuff.
Absolutely right.
Otherwise, you're actually trying to say the thing
Right.
that's
You're just
instead of
concentrating
like-
on the lines. You
Right.
don't have the ability to then really sink your teeth into it
and give some character to
Right.
things and whatnot.
Right.
Yeah.
Adam Snare is mad that I picked on Metallica. He says Tony doesn't like anything unless it's Billy Joel. That's not true. Even though Billy Joel just put it on a new video yesterday, it's not true. Bosey busting into Tom Jones during his stand-up. If a tree falls in the woods.
Oh, Bosey.
That silly Bosey. So yes, I'm sorry. Sorry to hear you didn't make it to the Black Rose. I saw them. 1992. I saw them. They were fantastic.
Remedy to me is one of my favorite songs.
Yeah. What's the name of that album?
Remedy.
That's the name of that album?
Yeah.
That was that was when that album came out when I saw them.
That was amazing. Like it hit all of the things that I loved about just like fun rock music with that the from blues, the heavy influence of black music, and also the kind of the country feel, that southern rock.
Yep.
But like so modern at that time and whatnot. Because I didn't fit into most of the, and then like that kind of faded a little bit.
Well, you had grunge came in right after that.
And then it was like, oh my God, this is what I fully identify with, like in terms of like a subculture.
Yeah.
This is what's happening in my life, is all of this stuff. And alternative music, I'd always been around alternative music because my brother was like one of these people who just like picked up on things way before anybody else, and then he was out of it way before
Right.
everybody else. Like I remember him bringing New Kids on the Block tape and being like, check this shit out. And I'm like, okay, it's just like a bunch of dudes singing. Like,
right.
He's like, yeah. He's like, there's something about it though. I like it. And then like a week later, he's like, I'm like, hey, where's that tape? Like I was like, because it was so that first album was so catchy.
I'll give you that.
It's like I got to listen to it so I can get it out of my head, because that's how I work that. And he's like, nah, I fucking got rid of it. I'm like, why? He's like, it sucks. And then like it wasn't until like a month after that it was like
right,
this huge thing. Like and all the girls. There was a girl I went to school with who had a different New Kids shirt for every day of the week.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Wow. Hilarious. And it was funny to see them, to watch other people go through the same bullshit that I go through, which is you're so into something when you're little, then you get to like that age where you're like, I'm not into it. Then you get into it ironically, and then you fully embrace it when you're old. It's been fun to like, I'm still friends with her. She's one of my very good friends. And because she was so into New Kids. And like, I want to say I was in 8th or 9th grade when that was like, when they first hit. And then to watch her like at the end of high school be like, no, I didn't know. Like we were sitting at the lunch table, be like, shut the fuck up, Tracy. Like you had a different fucking New Kids shirt for every day of the week. Oh, how would you even notice that? I'm like, I don't know.
Because I'm staring at your tits.
Where else are you keeping your tits, Tracy? Except in your fucking shirt. But and then like to like ironically be into it in college and immediate post college, and then now that we're adults, so like her and all the other girls are like, oh, we're totally going to this New Kids concert together. We should all go together. And it's like much like Bozy talking about the bunch of 50-year-old women that's exactly what's happening to these guys now.
Oh yeah.
Like, and I don't know how I'd feel about that if Like that's, I mean, it's money. It's what you do. You probably appreciate it, but there's got to be like some piece of artist in you.
Artist
that's
integrity.
Like,
fuck. I think, I think you feel the artist integrity. Like, you take New Kids on the Block. They probably loved the attention in the beginning, and they were just into it. Probably thought everything they touched was gold, in the music.
Yeah.
I think after a while, when that starts to wear down, then you're like, I'm not just the latest flavor of the month. I'm an artiste, and I have quality, so they try to show off that. I think by the time they get to our age, they just want to pay their mortgage.
That's what I'm saying. But
I don't think they care at this point.
There's got to be some
Still
a glimmer. Yes, because I think you can't. You almost can't perform if you don't have, like in general, if you don't have that thing inside of you that's like, I need to do my thing.
Yeah.
And because that's what like doing stand up and focusing on stand up. Like I finally hit the thing that I want to just do as and focus on this. That everything else that comes my way, I'm kind of like, I don't want to spend the energy doing these things.
Yeah.
I want to do the thing that, like I want to shine. I want, like, you must look at me. Look at me.
Yeah, I get it.
And I mean, not that I'm famous enough to have any clue. Even
if
remotely.
I'm still doing Dracula by the time I'm 50.
Well, I just used this quote at the bus stop to one of the moms. Because we were talking about like modern fame and whatnot. We do get into these weirdly deep conversations. But it's a Mark Twain quote, and I don't remember it exactly, but it's one of my favorites to like when you're talking about like fame or money, and it's I am against the idea of millionaires on principle, but I would love to try it out.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm saying. Like we that Mark Twain, brilliant, but that quote nails it. I think of how I feel about it. Like, why? Yeah, I'm against it, but it's almost like when you say call somebody a sellout. That's this part of my life where I'm like, is somebody really a sellout? And I'm like, well, what if it was me, and I did all these things, and then I got to a point where I'm not necessarily relevant anymore, or there's now people relying on me for certain things. Like the real world is a real motherfucker. And the quote that I wanted to someday, some idiot doing whatever the version of podcasting this is, to be like, I love this old Andy Plagianos quote. I'm going to fuck it up, but it's something about the universe conspires to make hypocrites of us all. And it's funny because I'm like, I came up with that a couple of years ago, and I'm like, that had to have been so. Every now and then I Google it, like the exact in quotes and everything. I'm like, no. I'm like, I fucking got this. So I try to use it.
We should put it
everywhere. The universe conspires to make hypocrites of us all. That's the long, and it's sort of an offshoot of you either die young or you live long enough to become the villain from Dark Knight.
Yep.
Yeah. It's sort of like the same concept of like, you cannot stay alive and not have to at some point compromise something you believed in at one point wholeheartedly, and not that you're doing it maliciously, but that you've done it because you're older, you're wiser, you realize now, like, what folly in my youth, that I assumed that when people were doing this, that it was like an affront to me. And now I have to do it to survive or to help somebody who's young grow up. This isn't true with everything.
Yeah, I'm actually
because trying to think of the counter example.
Well, I'm trying. I have the counter. At least I think I have the counter example because we got into this through Metallica,
right?
And I'm sitting here thinking that Metallica is not the example of that. these are guys that had their time. These are guys that were already millionaires. You said it. You said wanting to stay relevant. Like, is that really a legit argument? Are you really, everybody has their time. Everybody, and especially in show business, you get to your 40s, definitely your 50s. No, you're not that relevant anymore. But you can still enjoy your life. Like, is being relevant on MTV really the most important thing?
Well, everybody's got look at reality star. Like the fact that reality entertainment is the single largest. Well, even what we're doing now is technically reality. Like this is.
I guess
it's the. Like people's motivations, and here's where it's walk a mile in their shoes. We have a million things that we say about that. Is I truly wonder if you've done it all, well then what do you do? If you turn a lot, and this is why I truly believe, and I think you're going to agree with me when I say it, that many of these people turn to the drugs and alcohol and fast living kind of things. Look at Vince Neil.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
I mean, if you can, for longer than like a fraction of a second.
Yeah, right.
The excesses, like you just, because you need to, we problem solve. We need to do things. like we need to challenge ourselves. So there's a certain point where it's like, what do we do? What do we do to try to take it to some other level?
And that's a good example because, Motley Crue is an example to me of another sellout, and a lot of the hair bands, Poison, they didn't challenge themselves. They just did whatever would get them on MTV next, whether it was a reality show about or Tommy Lee's porn with Pamela goes viral, so Tommy Lee goes out and makes a porn with his girlfriend. That's trying to stay relevant. That's desperate.
But see, that usually happens like you hit your peak, right?
Yeah.
And then it starts all kind of going away. And
but
what
it doesn't fully go away. You guys, like, you're not playing Madison Square Garden anymore, but you are playing Westbury Music Fair. And that's a great thing.
That you were saying that. That's what I'm saying. Like, the position of millionaire, I am against, but please let me try it. We can think that from outside, but there's something inside of them that's like, what the fuck? Like, I used to be able to do this, that. I mean, you can almost turn it into just getting older. Like, I used to be able to take a shit. It's a big solid shit. Now I sit there for half an hour and barely anything comes out. Like, so is it selling out, taking a laxative?
Yes.
I think that's actually the question.
But you have to be on the outside to see that. You take Motley Crue. They didn't. You couldn't look at a band from the 60s and say, well, they had their time, and now in the 70s they weren't as popular anymore.
And here's where we kind of start talking about like education levels and like how present.
There's very few that sustain that level.
Right. But they all think, especially when it's when you're young and you have that success and you didn't experience the lack of success earlier on, that you can't handle it when you are not having that success.
And I have trouble feeling bad for that. Like, the worst of your issues is the fact you're playing Westbury Music Fair.
I don't feel bad for them, but
you just
I understand.
Okay.
And so, like, hey, and everybody's got to do what they got to do to get by, to make the whatever money.
Absolutely.
So this, to me, people who straight up sell out, which I think Motley Crue would be a great example of this also, is you've experienced a decline. Like a very serious decline where you're not in the zeitgeist at all.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, an opportunity comes. And like, oh, people are starting to talk about the 80s again. And yes, whatever you say to your agent, get me to do anything. Get me in with anything. That has to do with this resurgence.
Right, yeah.
And then they go and they do it. And then the rest of us is left to be like, oh, what happened to you, man?
Right.
You used to be so fucking cool, and now you're in a fucking laxative ad. And that's because Colonial Penn. What's the one Trebek used to do? What is it, Colonial Penn?
Who used to do? Trebek.
The ads.
Yeah. But long-term term life insurance. Yeah.
Right. And so he's always been. I mean, game show hosts are pitchmen. They're advertising people. Like that's.
Then they got Tom Selleck to do some of that. Oh no, he was doing reverse mortgages, I think, right?
Right now he's doing it when the guy who is the second DA from Law and Order died. Fred Thompson died because he was doing those reverse mortgages.
Yeah.
Would I tell you that they're not a ripoff if they weren't paying me a ton of money to tell you they're not a ripoff? Like, did you just say that they're definitely a ripoff, that they're actually paying you to say that? Like, and Tom Selleck kind of says along the same lines. It's like, it is a ripoff. Yeah, pay all in the front end and all the shitty money that you like. My wife always like, oh, I hate that when I look at the amortization and whatever, like that I'm paying all of this interest now. Like, yes, that sucks.
Yep.
But at the end, I'm going to tell you, because it's 30 years, you'll be like, oh, I'm paying this, but at least it's the principal. Because imagine it's the other way. 30 years later, you're like,
true.
Oh, God, I'm still paying this fucking interest.
Yep.
At least it's the principal, and you're like, at least it's the principal. Yeah. You know, water on a duck's ass, or whatever that saying is. Damn the duck's ass. Water. I can't remember. But I love confusion humor. I know. Water on a duck's back and all that other. What was I going to say? I was making a fucking fantastic point, and I got myself.
I was actually just wondering how the hell we even got here.
I took Northern State to the Wantagh State Park.
Oh, very nice. I had to take my daughter to her day hab in Plainview, so then I, too, jumped on the Northern State to Wantagh, Hampshire Turnpike. Here we are.
Nice.
Excellent. Very nice.
Look at us. But, selling out and sell out. And also, generationally, the whole idea of selling out, we've grown up with pop culture. Like, if you really think of it sort of on this meta level, our parents are the first ones to grow up with a TV in their house and have like idols, like truly these young people who travel around and are singers and are attractive. Elvis, and even it starts getting into Cassidy and fucking what's his name, the real lame motherfucker,
Tony Orlando.
Leif
Garrett.
Leif Garrett. Leif Erikson founded America.
Right. Well, so he might have been a pinup at one point.
I'm sure he was. Yeah. Did you see the calendar? The Tiger Beat. Fucking like axe killing Native Americans.
Well, back then, it would be a real tiger that he's beating. Yeah.
Tiger Beat. As in, I beat the tiger. Sorry, I need to make the accent much more correct. Yes, I like to take a girl out, I brush my teeth, mitten the stick. You know, the smelly stick that you get in the forest. Lee Erikson giving dating advice in Tiger Beat magazine. Not Tiger Beat, literal Tiger Beat.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah, Leif Garrett was lame.
That's what they and so when we were little, that you talk about, didn't they see? This was the first wave of selling out.
That's why I mentioned Motley Crue, because you take a band from the 60s that didn't go further than the 60s. I don't know, Jerry and the Pacemakers, like they didn't know because there was nothing to look at. There was no rock bands before them that. Okay, they played the Garden Open, then they went down to the local fair, but they're still making a living. Okay, that's what we got to do.
But youth mentality is always, we're fucking so much better than them.
Yeah.
And see, that morphs, and I know I've talked to you about this before, that morphs into when you do kind of get to that older, where you look back and kids these days, let me tell you, look, kids, people were born in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. We're the last ones who, like, oh my God, it's a different world now. Like, nostalgia truly is the drug of old people. Like,
oh, absolutely.
It's super dangerous. And if you get too far into your nostalgia, you will hate everything and everyone. That's, I think, where angry old men come from.
Yep.
But
I remember that with, with video games. Once it became, not when we played video games as kids, when our kids play video games, when it became the we can talk to each other on the headsets and whatnot. So many people, these kids, they never leave the house and they just sit in front of their computer. They said the same thing when we were playing Space Invaders. It's fine. Right. And they're actually interacting with other kids where we would be stuck in our house with maybe a friend or two.
Right.
It's fine. I remember I never had a problem with it. And and they're fine. The kids are fine.
Yes.
They're totally fine. Like you said, it's just different.
The world that we grow up with is the world that we rebel against and change the world to be our rebellion. Like all subcultures become part of the mainstream. That's why selling out, again, when it comes to selling out, it's just that it gets sucked into the mainstream because anybody, like I was a part of that alternative.
Oh, sure. Pearl Jam became mainstream. Red Hot Chili Peppers became mainstream.
And it wasn't their fault for doing it.
Agreed.
It was because we got older and some of the younger adults, like they wanted to take us into their, like the older people who are like, no, these people who are young, but I want to feel young. So I like that Pearl Jam that you got. Yeah, really? Because you told me they sucked.
Yeah.
Fucking 2 weeks ago. But you get assimilated into the culture writ large, and then there's a moment where nostalgia is what does it, where you're like, and it happens to me all the time. I'm like, I was so fucking cool. And now I'm not.
I've never had that moment, no.
And listen, I had a lot of pain. There was a lot of difficult times and whatnot, but because the nostalgia helps wash a lot of that away. To be like, the parties I went to, the people I met.
I was just having this conversation yesterday with a friend of mine. We were talking about the ESPN just had a 4-part special about the '86 Mets.
Right.
And now my friend who I was talking to was not a Met fan. He's my age. So when the '86 Mets were dominating, I was 16. For a white kid, a white boy in New York in 1986, it was just a perfect time to be 16.
Right.
You had, 80. It was,
it was the perfect time for you.
Well, yeah,
and that's what everything we say. All of these feelings are
all
nostalgia.
those things going on in the world at that time.
Yes,
the '86 Mets. It
fit.
MTV. I mean, you think anybody thinks '80s, they think of the poppy, fun music and the bright neon colors. So, 1986 was like the pinnacle of that. So to be 16 was perfect.
Right.
So when I watched, and my friend said the same thing. He goes, I remembered that. I knew him back then. And he said, no, I wasn't a Met guy, but to watch this series. Takes you back to that, and it just sparks.
I was 11, so it was the
it takes you
exact
back
same
whether
thing.
you enjoyed the Mets or not. It still takes you back to that time,
and
you just automatically smile.
Especially being from here, is that, and I'm a Yankee fan. I don't remember who won the World Series the year before or the year after. Though it was the Twins, right?
85 was the Twins.
No, the year after. It was 87, I think, was the Twins, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then 88, I think, was L.A., I think.
Yeah, because 88 was, the whole Dodgers fucking thing. Yeah. But, fucking Dodgers.
Stupid.
But, no, and that's what I'm saying. But right now, 20 years from now, there's going to be two dudes.
Oh, absolutely.
Who are going to go, oh, my God, 2021, the pandemic, fucking whatever we're into right now, because I don't know what you people are into. You kids watching, what is this? I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I'm sure there's many kids watching. They see these two men with gray.
In the far-flung future, when they accidentally intercept this broadcast as the third generation or fourth generation of human beings who have left the Earth,
living on
traveling
Mars.
back for like a field trip, and they're like, oh my God, there's some sort of thing for you guys
On Elon Musk's moon.
Right, they pass by like, what idiot put a what is that thing? It looks like a person, but not really. And yeah, like they're going to be like, their nostalgia is going to be like, that time was such a great time. That's why, like, young people who are very into like their parents' or grandparents' generational things is so odd to me.
I tease Carletto about that all the time. He's always referring to Angie Dickinson. He loves Frank Sinatra. Like, he's only just a few years older than me. I'm older than you, and he's a few years older than me.
Right.
I said, what happened to you? You should be into
some of it
Zeppelin.
is cultural.
Yeah, it's his
thing.
Surroundings with his family. Yeah,
some of it.
I'm just teasing him,
I'm talking about like people who are like, and I know I'm gonna get total shit for this because I always do. The Honeymooners. Oh, I love watching the Honeymooners. I still watch them, and they're my age, and I'm like, yeah, I remember the first time I watched the Honeymooners on Channel 11 when they used to have it on Channel
Saturday
11.
nights, yeah.
Yeah, and I'd watch them and be like, yeah, this is pretty funny, but
yeah,
I've tried to watch it now because I watch a lot of METV, Memberland.
Yeah.
And no, it didn't age well, and comedy shouldn't.
Oh, wow.
Comedy shouldn't age well. The fact that they use and what people are like, it's kind of like sequels, and when they remake movies, everybody gets all upset.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I can't believe they're remaking this fucking movie that I loved. Yes, because it's a really good story, and they want to make it relevant to somebody else, because what's going to happen is somebody's going to look back, Breakfast Club, detention on a Saturday. What are you talking about?
Right.
What is detention?
I'll agree with you there. But I get your point, but I am going to switch gears a little bit because that's actually on my list. They're remaking the movie The Bodyguard. That is not a movie where you're going to say is not topical. Where you're going to say with detention on a Saturday.
No, but you need.
But why does that movie need? That movie sucked.
Yes, you and I hate that movie, but it made a lot of money
because of that stupid song that she sang.
It's not a stupid song because Dolly Parton fucking wrote it.
No, you're right about that.
So,
you're absolutely right.
But
bad movie does not need to be remade.
Well, it needs to be remade because somebody needs to make money. Somebody wants to make money and make it culture. It's these cultural milestone things, these touchstones.
But all right, but that's what I'm saying. That movie was not a cultural thing. That movie was not a touchstone. Star Wars, fine, maybe remake. Back to the Future, maybe will be remade someday. Even Russell Brand remade Arthur. Didn't come out good, but I understood remake because that's a story that should be, because that first one original was so funny. But
you hated Bodyguard. What happens if they fucking nail it with the remake? That it's like, oh no, this is actually a great fucking movie. Like they actually did all the things right. I believe that movies that are flawed are better off being remade.
Airplane.
Yes, I would love to see Airplane remade.
Airplane was a remake.
Yeah, well, it was a shot-for-shot remake of
Zero.
I've seen them. I've seen Zero.
Yeah, so fine. The reason I say that is because that's the only way the Bodyguard remake would be good, if they take it and they make it like that.
Now, see,
that movie sucked. There's certain movies.
Yeah,
come on, there must be a movie that you must be able to say, no, this movie sucked and it shouldn't have been made in the first place. You can't think of one.
No,
you can't think of one movie.
No, because I love bad movies, and I think the bad movies should always be remade. I watch Turner Classic Movies all the time, and I fantasize about remaking some of these horrible beach movies from the early 60s.
Funicello movies?
Yeah, and
Frankie Avalon?
Fucking Frankie Avalon. I love them. I'm like, they've got to.
All right, but
when they did Back to the Beach,
they were fun, and the people that like. The demographic was, I guess, the teenagers who love Frankie Avalon and Annette. So it worked. It worked. I'm not saying take a movie that worked back then and you watch it now and some people say it didn't.
Well, The Bodyguard worked.
The Bodyguard sucked then is my point.
You didn't like it. There are people that like that.
Where are they? Where are they?
I don't know, but they're going to spend their money to watch this one. So that's that. It's all, and especially when it comes to art, there's no true originality. I'm going to get to the greater idea Sam Harris has that there is no such thing as free will. We're working ourselves up to that.
Right.
But like there are everybody. I just said this to one of my daughters. I'm going to get shit about this too. I was like, okay, we all say that everybody is like special and that we all have our own things.
Yes.
But the truth is there are actually only a limited amount of options in everything. So there are a finite number of ways that you can turn out. And some have a larger probability based on the way that you're raised and who your parents are and whatnot. And that's like what I always say, what's the number one way to predict the religion of somebody is to know what their parents' religion was. Because it's not like you don't have that option. It's not like you're 5 years old and they're going, so do you want to have a piece of your penis cut off, or do you want to be or drowned in a fucking bowl by a guy who's probably going to want to fucking jerk you off in a couple of years? Like those are your choice. Like, and I'm only getting it down to 2, or we can think there's like a million of these gods, and like one of them's called Kali, and he's got like 8 arms, and she'll kill you, but she'll also, create, because without destruction you can't have creation. But anyway, I digress. Buddha, if you meet Buddha in the road, kill him. That's actually the title of a book. Oh, but I've gone deep.
I'm not.
I'm trying to get back out of this. But that's we aren't. You're not special, people. None of you are special.
And that's the whole point of today's show.
Movies, music, writing, art, like it's just it's echoes of your influences and whatnot. There's and it's really considered brain damage. This was part of I was explaining Albert Einstein, because the girls asked me if Albert Einstein would like something that's modern. And I'm like, to be honest, I think he'd be too old at this point. Like, he would kill me. But if he was the age that we think of Albert Einstein now, do you think he'd be into it? I'd be like, probably not. Like, are you talking about like he was born when he was born and somehow he got
still alive? Somehow,
well, not still alive. Like he's magically transformed to being like 60 now. Is that what you mean? Yes. Because we saw Avatar. And this is what kind of sparked like, because 6 years later you're on this flight, but you were frozen.
Right.
And now it's 6 years later.
Yeah.
And I'm like, to be honest, no, I don't think he would, because it's not the world that he knows.
Captain America.
Which is, the comics, the Captain America comics suck. Fuck you people, they sucked.
Yeah, I remember as a kid, he was not a popular superhero.
No, he was. It was cool. Like, he had. I mean, I know the uniform is not cool, but it was cool. Like, throwing the shield.
The shield was
when
cool.
Captain America throws his mighty shield.
Wow, I
remember Captain America throws his mighty shield. Yeah, I fucking was so into it. But they did a great job with the movies of taking like concepts that. And it's funny because the original writers and artists, the people who came up with these characters, had these things in mind, but they couldn't put out comic books that are like dealing with this guy who's out of his time. Because that was like just a gimmick to make him like, he's still young.
Right.
Still young. I know he was beating up Hitler, but he was actually frozen.
Right. Yeah.
And so it was just like a gimmick, but like they never tackled it really in the Silver Age and into the early Bronze Age. They didn't tackle it. It wasn't until the 90s that they were tackling that sort of thing. And it's a great, interesting thing, a man out of his time. Highlander, the movie Highlander, that's one of the great things about that movie. And if you want to talk about it, at least, if you're into the intellectual end of things, because cutting off people's heads is fucking cool. So I can enjoy it on that level. Right. But like, and get more, and you get power from it. It's like, there can be only one. Ramirez, you silly peacock. This is my Christopher Lambert impression.
Is that what he calls him? A silly peacock?
At one point he does, yes.
See, I wouldn't be able to take a movie like that seriously.
Have you seen Highlander?
I've never seen Highlander. I know I get yelled at by many people. I've never seen it.
To me, part of the world must not make sense to you because it's one of those things that has influenced so much of science fiction and fantasy that you'll be like, my daughter's always like, oh, they do this on Amazing World of Gumball. And I'm like, they're making fun of this. I mean, this is where it came from. And that's what they like. Trust me, this is the source material. And if you are somebody who digs source material,
yes,
you're somebody who's like, oh, cool, this is where that came from.
Yeah, but it also depends on what it is. Like when we saw, and I still screw up the title, Shang-Ching. When we walked out of that, Sallie and her oldest, this movie was totally from, I don't know, The Last Airbender or one of those, I don't know, what some anime shit. And they're going on it. When this happened, that was just like that. When this happened, and it was a total rip-off for that. And they had so many comparisons. I didn't give a shit.
The thing is look up Shang-Chi.
Look up Sallie's shirt. Or look down Sallie's shirt.
Yeah, she's too short for that.
Yeah. It's always looking down at Sallie.
Like, look up the character. Look up the comics.
So the comics came first? Is that what you're saying?
Aha! Far the comics
Take
came
that,
first.
Sallie O'Neill.
So and that is such a frustrating thing coming from geek culture. like early geek culture, because there really wasn't, like, our parents' generation did not have geek culture. They had weirdos.
Our parents had more nerd culture.
Right.
We have more geek culture, but I find myself personally falling for the nerd stuff more.
But geek culture was born out of the nerds becoming the people who made all of the art.
Yep.
Of like the 40s, 50s,
yep, you're
and
absolutely
60s.
Right. Yep.
That like and influenced by it, like Lost in Space. Sometimes I catch it in like Saturday nights on METV.
Haven't seen that in years.
And I hated it when I was a kid. I'd be like, oh, this is so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
But now that I'm at the age that I'm, that kind of understand its position in sort of coming out of the 50s, and we're not into the 60s. We're not into true counterculture yet. And to see it and be like, wow, it's actually really interesting what they did here. Like, the writers were insane. Like, they must have been brilliant to have like kind of done this thing, and that influenced so many things that came afterwards.
Right.
But like geek culture, like true geek culture did not come into like fruition until Generation X. It's like, and
fruition. It existed a little bit. You had Star Trek and stuff like that, right?
There was a kind of a mental exercise this got me into this discussion with other friends of mine, better friends, and is Star Trek, Trekkies.
Right.
So it's not new that there are people, weird people, who are like sold out. Who were Trekkies 200 years ago, 300 years ago, 500 years ago? Who were these people? What would they have been? That level of obsession and that level of devotion. And I just kind of gave away what my answer is by using the word devotion. It's religion. Like, that's why so much there was less education. The only education came from the church. Like that there was this. So,
that makes sense.
So Trekkies are old school religious nuts who just found a new religion that satisfies this.
You're spot on. Because you can take certain things like Star Trek, like the Beatles, that are now college. They're the subject of college courses.
Absolutely. And
so that's totally fits in line with what you're saying.
Because pop culture became like a real thing.
Jesus Christ Superstar. It's kind of that.
No, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. It's all part of this huge, larger conversation that I have with myself constantly.
With yourself.
That's why I like that the one of my favorite lines in any movie ever is Braveheart. Free! No, not that one. The one where the Irish guy is like they go, "You're talking to yourself," and he's like, sometimes an Irishman needs to have counsel from an equal, and there's no other Irish around, so he's forced to turn to the Almighty. What's that, Lord? Yes, I'll ask them. Do we get to kill English? Like that. That's such a great fucking line. But you know, I'm forced to talk to myself often because most people don't. This is not. I think actually everybody thinks about these things, but it's so disjointed. I feel like there needs to be like a. It's huge. This subject.
No, I don't think anybody thinks about it.
That one hurt, Tony Walker. Words hurt.
Well,
Words.
Speaking of words hurting, next Friday, you and Joe Winchell will be in here.
Yes.
Are we able to get any kind of pre-show trash talking?
Oh, we'll totally. Yeah.
Excellent.
Like
That's
if
all I need to
Goonan
know.
was here, Goonan would be happy because we would totally be talking down each other.
Speaking of that, I enjoyed you and Goonan. You guys taped his podcast.
The conversation one.
Yeah, the
Okay.
conversation one. What's it called again? My apologies.
Oh,
Goonan.
Tune In with Goonan.
No,
Tune
that's
In to Goonan.
That's the show. That's the.
Oh, I don't know, but the.
I thought they had different titles, like the one where he does like basically like a sitcom.
Right, which I think
that's Tune In with Goonan.
I don't know.
And I thought the
I'll
one
have to
with
look
where he just has a conversation. I thought that one had a different title.
That was hilarious. Like, and that is like, I will say that was probably one of the most like just straightforward conversations I've ever had with anybody with one of those. Instead of like just kind of being like,
Right.
kind of putting on a show. That was like, yeah, this is why Goonan and I like. I don't know him well. We only met for the first time physically here the night of the
But
laugh
you two
off.
totally.
But
yeah.
like everything he does, I'm always like, God, that's so fucking smart.
Yeah, he is. He is a smart comic.
I wish I had that kind of talent to be able to do what he does. I do my own thing.
Yeah,
but
I think your comedy is very smart too.
But I admire his like so much that I'm like, how is he not like?
Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah, well, I say that with a lot of these guys. But so there you go. All right, so next Friday, you and Joe Winchell will be here fighting. Looking forward to that quite a bit. That's next week. So today is Friday. There is no films on tap tonight. No films on tap tonight. So I think that's it until tomorrow night. Live from the green room, live from Governor's Green Room. We do return tomorrow night. Cool. Me, Sallie, Don. I don't know. Are you playing anywhere? You want to come down? Whatever you want.
Oh, I don't know.
But we do return tomorrow night, probably around 7:30 somewhere. And of course, hope you enjoyed Serenity Soul Sisters last night. That's one of our new shows. Joey Petroni starting his show October 12th. Good Times, Bad Times. Looking forward to that. Comedians on Hockey returns this coming week, October 5th. The original guys, John Truson, Anthony DiDomenico, and Chris Roach.
The needle is going back to the Rangers because it started out at the Rangers with them, then it went way over to the Islanders.
Way over.
With Eric and his buddy, and then now it's going swooping back the other way.
There was not a lot of love there, even between Islander fans when the show was taken over by Eric and his buddy. There was, hey, who, great original title, asshole. That's our show. Yep.
Well, that's also how the sausage is made with all comics. Like there's
how the sausage is made.
My favorite is
perfect.
And he's not going to watch this, but a friend of mine in comedy was upset because he does this joke where it's a CPAP mask and him being like and like doing the sound and everything.
Yeah.
And he got upset because he saw somebody else have the CPAP joke, and he's like, "She stole my CPAP joke," and it was like,
Did
are
she?
you sure?
Yeah.
Because then I saw somebody else do a CPAP joke that doesn't know him. Like, I think this is just kind of the logical end on that one.
Yeah, I think so.
It might be crossing over into being hacky.
Nice.
I might just use it for Dracula. I lean over and I say, because I wear a CPAP.
That would be awesome. All right, we're out of here. Thank you, pal, as always.
Likewise.
Looking forward to you and Joe Winchell next week.
Me too.
Again, no films on tap tonight, so join us tomorrow around 7:30 for Live from Governor's Green Room, and then, of course, Sallie and I will be back Monday right here at 11 o'clock, right? Columbus Day's next week. Yeah.